Well, Get Woke, Go Broke is happening again at Marvel Comics. While DC Comics seems to be like righting their ship a little bit. I mean, they've got their Absolute Batman line, which I don't like, but I get why a lot of people like it. That's fine. I guess they've got a hit. I don't have to like everything to know it is something that's high quality that people like. And then, of course, they have the Batman coming up next year with Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez, a team that actually seems pretty competent. So I think that DC kind of knows they got to sell some books to stay alive. Marvel Comics still isn't there yet. They are still doubling down on all the exact same woke garbage. It's actually worse than 2014 at this point with what they've got going on. And X-Men really was leading the way in that in its 2024 relaunch, From the Ashes, which relaunched this terrible era of X-Men that Jonathan Hickman basically broke the universe and then just said, I'm out, and then left it to all these woke activists to write in his little weird setting that didn't feel like X-Men at all. They finally relaunched it last year with all new number ones across the entire line. Yay. Trying to get a boost on that. It didn't do as well as a lot of the other relaunches, which is interesting. The Ultimate Universe and Absolute Universe just have just trounced them, which is weird. It's like people don't want the mainline versions of these characters anymore. Well, I guess it's not weird because they've been so destroyed by so many writers who have turned all of these characters gay or into replacement characters that are black and disabled lesbians or whatever. It's very, very sad. It's hard to read any of this stuff anymore. That's why I just mostly read the old Epic collections at this point. I actually just finished Daredevil: The Concrete Jungle. I'll clickbait and I'll talk about a book I want to talk about, which I didn't like very much, incidentally. But it's from 1976 and 1978, and it's Daredevil 133 to 154. And with that, I think it was a pretty bad era of Daredevil, but it's still, because it is at least Matt Murdock doing his things, it still is a better than we get in a lot of current books. I thought it was a little overwritten and not too much happened during this. But there was a period of Marvel in the 70s where it's like they decided to like try to maintain and not change characters too much, and so they really didn't take many risks with the storylines, and I thought that was the case. Of course, Daredevil, soon after this, once they get Frank Miller and starts to really take risks with the storylines, and that's where it changes quite a bit. But I digressed, so let's get back to X-Men. A bunch of stuff's getting canceled now because, of course, you know what's happening. It is a train wreck over there, and it's a woke train wreck that they relaunched everything with. They did the same mistakes they always do because Tom Brevoort is the editor there, and Tom Brevoort is the same person who's been running this crap for years and years and years and years. He's an activist. He's a wokey, and he hates all the comic readers and just wants to do his little thing and dig his heels in the sand and hire the exact same people to do the exact same thing. So a bunch of stuff's getting canceled. It's X-Force, NYX, and X-Factor. I'm surprised there are not, of course, Exceptional X-Men being canceled yet. I think that's going to be on the docket pretty soon because I can't imagine anybody's reading it anymore. And we will get into this just now. So please hit the like and subscribe button. That was my intro. What an intro. And of course, we're talking about all things comics here. I'm a comic creator myself. This is my Emerald Array graphic novel. I'm closing out the digital this weekend. So if you've not got this book yet, it is going out digitally to the backers tomorrow. When I do that, I'm going to close off all the digital tiers because I don't want to have to deal with like stragglers and resending them. I just have too many things to do. So I want to send out everything once, move on to the next project, because we've got like how many projects do I have in development right now? I've got Ayla Rin book 3 coming out, and that's in development. Battle Emperor, which is also spinning out of the same series. We've got Strike Team Ultima in development. We've got Deus Vult 2. I've got a horror western in development. I've got AI Wars in development. Clockwork Dancer in development. And so that is 7 books that are on the docket in terms of comics that are being made right now. So I just and Astromancer and Extrasensory, which are on my Subscribestar. 9 different lines I'm running right now. This is the place to be. We basically have a full slate of alternative comics that we work harder than anybody else in the business, and that doesn't even count the novels I'm writing. That's how crazy I am with working on this stuff for you guys. So please support the alternative. It's in the description below. Like I said, the digital closes out tomorrow. And once we have that out, I've sent it over to my printer to get proof copies and the like. We've got a couple more weeks before we do our final print number run. So you've got a couple weeks there to get in on this. But don't miss it. This is fun Space Marine action. And, we've been professionals doing this for a long, long time. Some of the best stuff in indie comics right here. Check it out. Thank you so much for the 455 people who have been here so far. Okay. Thank you for the spiel. My gosh, I've gone on a lot of tangents today. We've done Daredevil, we've done this. But here's where we're at with X-Men, my friends. They relaunched it last year, and if you remember, when he did his announcement, he got some pushback, Tom Brevoort, the editor, because everybody's like, we don't want woke crap, we don't want woke crap. So Tom Brevoort, of course, has to fight the fans and goes, well, this X-Men graphic sure brought people out in force. One reminder that I thought wouldn't be necessary. Express whatever opinion you like, but if you show up with homophobia or bigotry or hate speak of any sort, it'll be an instant block. Please clap, Tom Brevoort. You are so stunning and brave out there. And this is exactly the result of this kind of thing. So somebody actually made a thing. How about you tell a good story? Stop shoving the message down our throats. And he said, it's X-Men. The message is the premise. Now, Chris Claremont actually spoke at a convention last year and said quite the opposite. So Tom Brevoort got blown out on that. He said that X-Men should not be a representation of whatever minority of the week that they feel like it is. They have their own character arcs. They have their own stories. It's not about that whatsoever. So this is the guy editing. He missed the point of X-Men entirely, and he can't do it right. And, of course, he hires people who are woke activists to do things. So it got announced that a couple of these got canceled because Marvel commissioned 10 issues, basically. They said, well, we're going to give people 10 issues to establish, see how they go, see what the level's off at for the readership, and we'll evaluate from there. And 3 books already in this line could not make it. Now, Dazzler's already gone. That was a mini-series from the... They knew that was going to fail. So they mini-series that right away. What a disaster that book was. But we still have a bunch going on. Gail Simone's X-Men, I think, does have a decent following. Remember, she's got a big following, so there is that. Of course, it's that Uncanny's better than the other X-Men, which I was a little surprised about. I really thought, I'm blanking on the writer's name. You can leave a comment in the description below. But I thought he'd do a better job. Jed McKay. Thought he'd do a little better job with it, but it really went off the rails pretty quickly. And then there's Exceptional X-Men. Oh my gosh, the biggest disaster out of all of these. I'm surprised this hasn't been announced canceled, but maybe it is, because maybe that got its 10 issues as well. So here's what Jackson Lansing said. He made this really weird book called NYX, which is all about just preaching at people. They get a megaphone and tell people to vote. I mean, it's so cringy. It is the worst of comics I've seen. I did a whole article about this. If you do want to find this, called Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly turn Marvel's mutants into an anti-Trump rant with Kamala Khan and Ms. Marvel lecturing Americans on the election. You can go read that from last year. But he's now saying it's gone. Yay! So he made a video on X, which you can see right here. And there's your Jackson Lansing, woke activist at Marvel. Keeps getting writing jobs, even though everybody universally hates their books. Him and Colin Kelly. I don't know what's going on. Has become readily apparent from Marvel solicitations in NYX, the current book from the Ashes line over a Marvel is ending at issue 10. It's obviously really sad for a lot of reasons. It's not. We loved working on the book. We loved telling stories about Kamala and Sophie and Laura and Annalie and David and Julian and Sink and the rest of these characters. It's just been an honor coming back to Krakoan era to tell a story about rebuilding your life, existing, surviving in a hostile world. Oh my gosh. Roll your eyes. And learning how to create home when the rest of the world just wants you to be gone. Yeah, this is a self-insert story. He says it's personal to Colin and I because, yes, the rest of the comics industry just wants you off of these books. You can't write. It's been terrible. It is full of woke activism. Your crap on Star Trek's been the same with your shaved head, they, them, both Vulcan. That drives me more crazy as a Star Trek fan. But my gosh, it's been really, really bad. And so he rambles for this for a while. They are going to get a new giant-sized X-Men #1 that they're going to write these characters for. It is a one-shot, though. I feel like they're trying to rebrand and hope that the giant-sized X-Men #1 rekindles the Chris Claremont member berries and get some sales out of it, and maybe they'll try to get a series out of it. This is what they always do. It's like they never want to, like the editors want these people to be writing this stuff so badly that they just keep going on it rather than like just giving it up. And that's exactly what's going to happen for a bit here. They might get another short series out of it and it'll get canceled again. That's exactly what's going to happen. Nobody wants this. It's pretty obvious. If they really should just put me in charge of editorial, because it's like, come on, there's no audience for this. Just stop. Just stop. Anyway, X-Force and X-Factor are the other 2 books that are out, that are going to be out of this, and they also just not been hailed very well. People have not liked them. They're not nearly as bad as NYX. Nothing is. But especially X Factor, just like it was a dud. So X-Force Greg Thorne posted about this on the CBR forum saying, yeah, sadly, we're done at issue number 10. Not sure why. It's bad sales. That's why. You know that. You are going to learn a lot about Sage next issue. We have our mystery going deeper. It's not going to be what anybody expects. I don't think this version of X-Force can come back. I will say I'm pretty burnt out on comics fandoms. Now, the guy whines about this after Green Lantern, which was terrible by him too. Your folks in the larger X community, even the ones who didn't like X-Force, reminded me while making superhero comics is a worthwhile thing. This is very funny here and telling. Even though the money's crap, still worthwhile. Decency in comics fandom? Who would have thought it was still possible? This guy is really passive-aggressive, and he's really mad. With the exception of a couple of YouTube channels, I didn't. So thanking all of you for bringing me back. I've got one more tidbit coming after that. We'll see. 2 more to go. You're going to have a ball with them. We're not limping off the field. You are actually limping off the field. And this is actually a crying passive-aggressive statement about comic fans just not wanting your crap. And that's what it comes down to. So X Factor's also getting the chop, but there's been no statement from those creators on that. And we'll be following along. I'm really hoping Exceptional X-Men gets the X as well. Can't wait to just dunk on that one a little bit. But this is Marvel Comics. They're going to just do this relaunch, all new giant size X-Men again to try to do it again. Number 1 issue. And they're going to hope that brings people back. But you can't do this. You can't have your woke storytelling, Tom Brevoort. And people don't want it. It's not what the X-Men is about. It's obnoxious. It's 2025. Move on. All right. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Grab the Emerald Array before it's gone. This is action-packed adventure like you used to get from something like X-Force. You would love this, guys. Grab it in the description below. It is definitely the book for you. I wrote this for you in mind, my friends, and don't miss it before it's gone tomorrow. Thank you so much for supporting. We'll be back soon.